That's the last thing
I know
ever.
I know not what this guy is talking about. All I know is it's Friday afternoon. It's a little cloudy, but it's still not too bad out there. And guess what, folks?
Guess what?
We're back.
Oh, is that all? Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah. Who are you?
The bold one.
Wait a minute. Do you want your close up, or you just want to,
It doesn't matter. I look good both ways. The bold one, the cold one. John Colder Ice Lawson in the house. What's
I
up?
like the energy. I do like.
I do. I feel good.
I like the energy. I like the energy. I think Friday is a better deal for us. I don't know. I guess
We'll
we'll figure
find
it out.
out. Look,
We'll find-
yeah, about to say we'll
we'll
find
see.
out. But I
Oh,
like the recapping of the week. That works too.
hey man, don't get ahead of yourself because I have to do something real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm Brent Leary,
Ah.
and I'm looking at you, cinematic.
Ah.
All right, that's all right. You just had to get that. It's a brand new Friday. It's a brand new vibe for the watching Amazon, and it's a brand new look for at least one of us.
That's
who I'm-
because some people need to change.
Some people certainly do.
When you're born with it,
I changed that shirt, but no, I'm just.
what's wrong with my shirt? It's a Zoo York shirt.
It's a Zoo York. Okay, there it is,
Yeah.
folks.
Back in the
Zoo
day,
York, Zoo
man.
York. Big city of dreams.
And
Look,
this is classic, dude.
look who has followed us over to Friday afternoons.
Yay, Meredith. What's happening, girlfriend?
She's back. She's found us. We are here. And here we shall stay, folks. We're gonna this Friday afternoon, right before close to the end of the week, getting ready for the weekend. It feels like this is probably where we should be.
Hey, man. I like it. I ain't hurting.
You ain't hurting. Well,
Nah, the only thing is I didn't make a drink today, but I will at one point.
well, that's I'm sure there's some gin and juice to be had.
You
And
know
what
what
else?
I'm saying?
Y'all are blurry and on a delay for me. Who's
No,
blurry?
sorry. It should clear up soon.
Yeah, sorry about that. Hang with us though. We'll get you through.
Yeah, we'll get you through. It's all about the messaging.
You know what? First things first, we need to say something about DMX, man.
Dude, I know. That's part of me doing all of that just to get some of the energy and the heaviness that I'm feeling.
Yeah, I mean, he was only 50.
Yep.
He had his issues, but he was still. I mean, I just like
Forever.
that guy. The guy was just who he was. I mean, a rough rider.
DMX, man, I'm telling you, DMX changed hip hop forever. I mean, if there was a crossover from street hip hop to pop charts, he's the guy that did it, in my opinion, without losing one iota of who he was as a street rapper.
I mean, what was always funny about DMX, the videos of DMX, yeah, like they had to do those funny sounds, the blank out.
Yes,
Oh, that was so funny.
You're right. That's true, right? Because you could not change he couldn't even change the word. They would just put his over all the curse parts. Yes, you're right. I remember that. He was one of the first to do that.
What he is pretty known in the plant community. What's that all about?
What do you mean?
She says he is pretty known in the plant community as well.
Oh, I think she's talking about weed.
Oh, see, I don't know your colloquialism.
That's because you're not in the plant community.
I apparently I'm not. So
yeah,
but I can still appreciate the guy. I mean, he had skills and he had attitude, and I mean, and he made songs fun, like Party Up. Y'all gonna make me lose my. I mean, that was an anthem.
It still is. Oh,
yeah.
It still is. Literally, if you go into any club, it's there's several of those like that, but that was definitely one of them.
He raised orchids. That's what she meant in the plant.
Okay.
See,
well, that's the different plant community.
Yeah, that only for his mind would go there. See, I didn't go there. I didn't
look, I ain't worried about it now that you tripping. I ain't worried about it.
Nah, he was great. And you know what? I actually like some of the movies he was in too, man.
I mean,
Remember-
dude, come on. Absolutely.
I-
What was that movie?
No, he was in Belly. He was
He's
in
in
the one with
Belly.
Steven Seagal.
Yeah,
which is
what was
I
that
think,
one? Yeah, me too. Oh man.
where he was like a club owner or something.
Ah, wow.
It was good stuff. Oh, we got Good Morning. Oh, that's Good Rockin' X. Yeah, that's my cousin Kevin. Yes.
And what was the that track he did on Aaliyah's movie? I can't even remember, man.
Oh, right, because that was where he was in that movie where he was owning one of those clubs.
Yeah.
And the guy, what was that called? Was that wasn't Romeo Must Die, was it?
That's it. Romeo.
That was
Must
Romeo
Die.
Must Die. Yeah, with my man Anthony Anderson, who was that was
Wow.
before he lost the weight.
That's a lot.
He was funny. I mean, that was some good stuff.
This is
it's just a shame.
definitely, man. This is history, man. There's so much history with DMX.
Yeah, the whole Rough Rider crew.
But it was really great to see. I don't know if you saw the verses with him and Snoop Dogg.
No.
You know, yeah. I mean, just to see him performing and getting hyped, doing his music, and I was really feeling like, you know, maybe he's going to do a comeback. But I understand, man. That thing on your back with these drugs is a heavy. He's gone through a lot.
Yeah, you know, and maybe one of the low points. Remember, him and his wife were on that Iyanla Fix My Life thing, and that was torture. I thought she was going to get slapped. I was really afraid that he was gonna really lose it. Yeah, you can check it out on YouTube.
I will. I will at some point.
Yeah, it was.
I think Ayana's a quack, but that's okay.
Oh, I do too. I mean, I wouldn't watch it. I just heard about it.
You saw that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It
looked like he came this close to like just. You could see the fear level start to rise. But anyway, sad to see it go out like that. 50 years old. But he left a lot of good stuff behind in terms of his music. So.
Yep. DMX will definitely live on forever.
Yes, sir. All right. So let's talk about some current events.
All right, let's shift. RIP DMX.
There is one really current event. Did you see the votes have been counted, or at least most of the votes have been counted in Alabama with the union?
Amazon won.
Was there any doubt? Did you think that that was not going to be the end result? Did you think that the union was going to be coming in?
I mean, you know, we've talked about the possibility for years. So I mean, I thought it was 50-50 basically. And now this decision is, you know, this 51.
Yeah. And it wasn't even really close.
It wasn't close. It was like 70% of them were voting or more, right?
Yeah. I'm trying to pull it up because I was like, man, that wasn't even close. Can't see. You know, I got this new monitor and it's so big. You see how I'm looking up like this? I'm literally looking at the top of the monitor to try to.
How big is the damn monitor, kid?
It's pretty big. All right, so here's let me do this. Go there. Ooh, wow, that's really big. Amazon has defeated a union. And look at this. The vote count against unionization totaled 1798, surpassed the simple majority of 1608. So it was
about 30%, less than 30.
Yeah, there was really no doubt. I mean, it was 738 voted for it. 16. I mean, it was 66 to 33 basically.
Yeah.
That's a stomping when you think about it. The union effort got slaughtered.
Yep. And so be it. We'll see if there'll be another uprising somewhere else. Of course, that's just one warehouse, one community, but it's definitely precedent setting.
You know, and I think another thing that might have entered into this, you know, Alabama is right, our next door neighbors, very, very conservative. I mean, that's one of those states that What did the Trump win by like 20 or 30 points or something like that?
When you say conservative, did you mean to say racist? Okay.
I'm gonna say conservative.
Well, you can say what you want.
I'm saying conservative.
That is a place I like to drive through quickly.
Yeah, and so I think the politics infect everything, and you have to think, there's probably some folks who might have voted against their financial benefit, benefit because they wanted to stay connected to their political kind of.
I think aren't unions a political thing just in general?
I don't know if you would think, maybe this is me thinking that if you wanted to have a certain level of wage increase and extra, I don't know, benefits to working, maybe some things that give you a little bit more comfort in work, and you're working at that facility, and traditionally I think unions do say, hey, look, we'll go together and we'll try to get more money, or we'll try to get more time off, or we'll try to get more benefits or something. And so traditionally you would kind of go along with that if you're a worker, I would think, but not in this case.
But let's be real. It does seem as though Amazon offers good jobs.
That's true.
And good pay. It's not, I don't know. I'm not really understanding completely what the unionization movement is. What is it that you're going to take us from here to here? Where's the here? I'm not sure that's clear.
I think I don't want to I think that some folks in unions, and I'm not saying all of them, I'm just going to go off a little bit of my personal experience. I worked in one of my first jobs out of school. I worked in a union shop organization, big pharmaceutical company, unionized. It was in, it was in New Jersey. No, Pennsylvania.
Mm-hmm.
And I ain't kidding, man. I was supposed to move from one desk to the next. And I mean, literally, it's like I could have just sat in my swivel chair and moved my stuff to the next.
Couldn't touch it
Because of union rules. And when it was like break time, they could be in the middle of doing your stuff. And they would drop that stuff and go and take their break. Union rules. That was like the thing they all union rule.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all I need is just, I can do it myself.
Bro.
So there are people that, the union kind of protects because they don't have to work as hard as people who aren't in a union. And I'm just saying there's probably a little bit of that element. Like, we all hear those stories about you work in a Amazon fulfillment center. You're going to work. You get good money, but you're going to work. And I don't have any problem with that.
I'm not working in one.
Yeah, well, I'm not working.
I don't know what the problem might be.
But if you're getting paid good money, you're supposed to work for good money, right? I mean, I don't have a problem with that, but
I'm not going to say anything.
I'm just saying. That experience stayed with me for until now. Like it. I mean, you couldn't move a book,
dude. I know. Look, I have been in too many scenarios where event planners, because I work with a lot of event planners in the speaking game, and we'll be like, dude, I got my green M&M requests on my sheets, and part of it is like, the where they have to make sure I got enough plugs. I have been in Las Vegas where the plug is here and we need to move the strip to the stage. You can't touch it. You got to call somebody from the hotel because it's a union shop in that entire, Las Vegas area or Chicago. And people will talk about Chicago and Vegas and the unions there add this level of I don't know. It can be annoying when it's something small that you need done.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I mean, so
I'm not anti-union though. Do not write me.
I'm not anti-union. I mean, my parents were teachers. I mean, they were definitely for a union. For all the, and my sister was a teacher too. So there, I mean, there is a good. I think there's a place for unions, but there is also some people who like to take advantage of certain aspects of being in a union. I don't know. It's a tough one, man. But I'll say this: I don't think this is the last of the union votes, and
Me either.
I think it's kind of just the beginning of things.
Yeah.
Because I
There's
think
warehouses all over the country, man.
yeah, I think this might. I mean, it's definitely a victory for Amazon, but I don't know if it's going to be like the long term, because I could just see this cropping up in different places, and they might get to the right place at one point where the vote will go that way. And I think once one does it, the likelihood for others to go become much more possible. I think.
Right. And so I think this has been quelled probably for a year or so now because of this sort of bellwether decision.
And I think that it's also on Amazon to showcase this and showcase, making sure those employees, you want to validate their decision not to unionize by doing good by them, making sure they're
Right.
getting
Yeah.
well paid and good health care, good benefits, because if they do that and they show that they are willing to make sure that they take care of their employees like that, then the chance of it being unionized goes down, because there really wouldn't be a need for it.
Right.
We'll
I
see.
love it.
We'll see what happens. All right. Here's another one. This is not directly Amazon, but Amazon is definitely was a part of this documentary. Have you seen this documentary? It's called Code Bias. Have you seen this? Man,
No.
this is probably the best thing I've seen this year.
Really?
Yeah, this young lady, she's a PhD candidate from MIT, and she was working on computer tech, IT, but she was focused on AI. You probably already heard, you didn't know it's her, but you probably heard this. She's the one who was trying to get AI, facial recognition technology, to
For
work
Black
on
people?
her. Well,
Yeah.
we'll work first just on her face. She's the
Right.
one that found out that
That
she would look at it and it would not know what to make of her face. She put on a white mask, and all of a sudden it was, well, you see what it's looking like there. All of a sudden it was able to recognize,
Yeah.
or thought they was able to recognize what it was.
Yeah.
And so she tried all the different big company facial recognition technologies. They all did the same thing.
Yeah, because they were feeding it the same data.
Well, because the people who developed the facial recognition technology, it was basically white dudes.
Exactly. So they were feeding it the same data.
So it was feeding it their experiences and their maybe even they didn't know about their own biases, internal biases.
Everything is bias. Racism covers.
Well, I'm not gonna. Of course, it does. Of course, but I'm just saying there are some known biases, and then there's some that they're unconscious biases. And I think when you have, and she points it out brilliantly. I wish I could pronounce her name, Joy Bulowimi or something like that. I hate not being able to pronounce her name, but she said it right. She's like, look, if you only have the people that are developing the technology all coming from one perspective, or one, kind of mind frame, then you leave out the spectrum of possibilities. And because that's what happened with this facial recognition technology, they couldn't. If the darker you were and the less male you were, the more likely they didn't have a clue as to who you were.
Well, let me just give you this conversation I'm having with a friend of mine the other day. He said United Airlines has decided that 50% of their pilot selection now has to be diverse. Okay.
Yeah.
And then their response or his response was, I just want the best pilots, as kind of like a argument to that. And I've just had to explain to him that you've never had the best pilots if all your pilots were white males. It is impossible to have the best when you pre-select from a subset before you get to the best.
Well, that's the whole point.
Exactly.
If you've got a population that's this wide,
Diverse, right?
and you're only looking to this part,
You're
how the
missing
hell
it
do
out.
you know if you have the best folks? You don't know.
No. We know mathematically you don't. That's
Right,
the key.
right.
Mathematically, it's damn near impossible. You would be better off hitting the lottery 10 times in 10 different states on the same day than to actually find the best out of this kind of subset.
And the thing that was really great that in her approach, she used each of their technologies, found the same thing, and then approached them. Actually, she was able to get enough interest in what she was doing to start writing for like the New York Times, and getting high profile opportunities to discuss her findings. And then she would go to each of the companies, and some of the companies would try to fight her, like say, no, we don't have bias in our, and then she would just break it down. I mean, it was great. But let me just do a quick shout out to Sam. Sam is the guy who's all over this AI stuff. Met him at the Pega event a couple years ago. He just talked too, Sam. We need to do another one of these one-on-ones that you did with me before. And my buddy Josh Greenbaum. Look, they were using test data that wasn't representative. Everything they did was completely biased, whether it was on done.
Here's the thing. I want to extrapolate.
Not virtually.
Here's the thing, though. I really want to extrapolate that this is not isolated to any one instance or any one industry. This is everything in our culture here in this country.
Well, think about it. Most of the science and technology jobs and degrees skew heavily towards white males versus the percentage of the population they make up. And then you look at females, blacks, Hispanics, we make up less of the scientific computer degree population than we do of the overall population. So it keeps getting skewed more and more and more, and because of that, you have things like this happen. Yeah, Amazon. Remember, Amazon got caught up in this too. Amazon started using this with law enforcement, and she watch the documentary how the people in the community, women were fighting back. Black women were fighting back around. They don't want to have any part of this stuff because it does not represent them. And it was some powerful stuff. It was, like I said, the best thing I've watched so far this year.
I'm going to check that out.
Check it out. And the other thing that was really nice to see, it wasn't just her. There were other women of color that were, getting, representing MIT and these high-powered colleges with PhDs in like information technology and artificial intelligence. It was just great to see. And these folks are young. They're young. They're like the generation behind us, or maybe generation or two behind us. It was just so refreshing to see that represented, as opposed to, I ain't trying to knock nobody, but
you hear that means you get ready to knock somebody.
I don't need to see any more Real Housewives, and we all know they ain't even married. I don't need to see any more shows like that or Growing Up Hip Hop. We don't need that. We don't need any more of that.
Here's the thing,
we need more of this. This is what we need more of.
Here's the thing. I think there's room for both.
There's room
I get it, but I don't like the fact that every other culture can have its foolishness and then black people suddenly have to always represent.
Well, let me say this. Just like we said that white males have been overrepresented this technology. We have been overrepresented on the other side of the spectrum on things that we don't really need to want to be overrepresented on.
That's only because we don't own.
Hey, I'm just saying what it is.
I'm
not giving you the
look,
choice.
you can't.
I'm just saying we need more. We need to see more of this.
Here's what I'm saying, dude. What I'm saying is you can't beat up on the people that are oppressed. You need to go up to the oppressor if you're going to make a statement. Don't say, hey, black folks, we need to do better, when it's like, no, studio owners, y'all need to do better. It's not see, that's what I'm saying. You can't blame the victim for being victimized.
I'm gonna digress on that one.
Oh, you have to, but I want to make this point. I want to make this point to people who are listening.
Oh, you made it. You made it.
Did I make the point?
Yes, you definitely made it.
I don't like that. I hear this.
Well, I'm sorry, but I want to see more of this. We need to see more of this. We need to see more representation, more opportunities for kids to see more of this.
Absolutely.
Because right now, kids are not seeing this, and what they're seeing is that.
I'm not disagreeing with that.
And we've seen enough of that. We've seen enough of that. We need to see more of this.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying, don't look at your brother and then tell them this is what you're doing wrong, when that is not the person making the decisions. These people on these shows are not making the decisions. They're just working.
No, they're just working. But look, there are certain things that they know they don't have to do, but they want to do that. It's nobody saying, "Oh, you have to go and act like a crazy idiot in order to make a living." No. But it's easy to
I'm not going into Housewives. I'm not going in on Housewives. Not this episode.
I'm going in.
You can go in.
I'm going out.
But I totally agree with you.
I just want to go in on Coded Bias. I think
it's great.
I love to see these people talking about these topics and leading the fight on these seriously important topics.
So I like the title, Coded Bias. Television is coded bias.
Check out the organization she founded. It's called, and Josh was the first one to hit me to this. It's something like the League of. Josh, can you, if you're still there, could you type in the name of the organization, like the League of Algorithm Justice or Justice League for Algorithm or something like that?
League of Legends.
No, it's like the Justice League for algorithms.
Okay, I got it. Algorithmic Justice League.
Yeah, that's it. That is it. See, that's what I'm talking. Oh, I love seeing that so much. Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty freaking awesome.
Really is. All right. Well, so I've taken the first two. What do you want to talk about? What do you got?
I want to talk about coded bias of industries.
Okay.
I'm teasing, but okay. I think it all works. I think it all falls again. I like that kind of thought because it all falls into everything. You know, when we say we want when things in our society need to mirror the representation of our society, if it does not, statistically, then it's coded bias by default.
Yeah, I mean it's the same premise. Yeah, exactly. I just
extrapolated.
I want to see where things go, like a year from now, 2 years from now. I really feel strongly that this young lady is representing a movement because they've already had some results. I mean, they've already made big corporations have to rethink and retrench their efforts because Amazon was going full bore into letting police use this stuff, and it's faulty, and it's dangerously faulty because if you're a black guy and you get falsely recognized as somebody who's done something bad, that might lead to your downfall.
It already has. It would just elevate and escalate that same scenario,
right?
Oh, we got somebody in the neighborhood. He fits your description.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you might not even look anywhere near like that person. But you got the same skin color.
That's it.
Okay. Yeah, Josh, thanks for that, and Sam, thank you for
Oh, that's
also giving
good.
that. Yeah, this is so important, and I'm glad to see folks like Sam and Josh. Because they're these guys are out there leading the way too. So I'm glad.
Superheroes.
But if you do get a chance, check out Coded Bias on Netflix. It's just a great documentary. All right, you know what? I saw something. I saw a stat. Let me see if I can bring that up. This is going back to directly on Amazon. If I could
Oh,
find it.
did you see his link though? I just pulled up his link.
I saw it, but I won't be able to look at it until.
But I mean, it's basically saying a well-known researcher at Google's research group Brain announced on Tuesday he's resigning. He's the
Well,
highest
Google.
ranking official to depart amid the fallout from
Yep.
Google's handling of ethics researcher Tenmit
Yes.
Gebru.
She was briefly in the documentary. Yes, there's a story
Really?
behind. Yeah, because
Oh, there you go.
she questioned some of the things that Google was doing in this area, and she ended up getting fired. And
Dude.
and that sparked a lot of blowback. Yeah, it's as the blowback continues. I'm guessing this documentary is going to spark even more blowback because it pointed out some seriously dark truths that are going on with it. Some of the most important technology that is about to impact all of us.
Wow. Pretty awesome.
Sammy Bengio. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. There it is. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. It's all, yeah. It's really resignated. Interesting. Yeah. All right. So let me show you this. Let's get back a little bit more onto kind of our traditional. I saw this stat in one of these newsletters inside e-commerce. Amazon increased its share of the U.S. digital ad market from 7.8 to 10.3% in 2020. That's a year-over-year increase of about 35%. Now it doesn't look like a lot, but a year-over-year increase in 1 year alone. What do you think Amazon? How do you see Amazon getting anywhere near the top two in this?
Faster than they have before. And I mean, you think about it, part of that is the COVID effect, because as more people moved towards online shopping, then it made sense to do more advertising in that channel, right? So I think this is definitely some of the fallout from the COVID economy, and it just escalated. And if it's working, there's going to be more and more money put into that.
Oh, it's working.
Yeah.
You know what? Here's the interesting thing about this. So their market share rose from 7.8 to 10.3. I mean, that's one thing. But the overall digital advertising pie is also growing.
Right. You know what? I was going to ask about that. Okay. So the entire pie is growing, but
Right.
they are also taking more share of the pie.
Yeah, they're outperforming the growth of the overall pie.
That's very common to what they did in e-commerce for years, to the point where they became e-commerce. Could Amazon become the leader? And I doubt it, but could they? Maybe.
You know what? I'm gonna say that they're gonna get real close, if not get right up there with the big two. It's still the big two and everybody else behind them.
I mean, so what percentages are the big two?
I can't remember, but Google was at one point was like 40%.
Okay.
And I think Facebook was like another 25 to 30%, something like that. If anybody out there knows those exact percentages, let us know. Just throw them in the comments and we'll put them on up. But I know that Amazon is far behind, but as you can see, they're gaining momentum. And I think the thing that you have to think about when it comes to Amazon and this digital ad stuff, they've got Amazon Prime, which is content that draws people's attention, which means advertisers are going to want to be able to do the digital ads against the video properties. Remember they made the deal with football, the NFL, so they're going to be able to stream Thursday night football. That's a captive audience. That's live sports, and particularly if it's the NFL live sports, you got a captive audience. You've then built a nice segue into your digital ad platform. So they're going to be making up some nice coin on that as well. And then, did you see what happened with Coming to America? I've been
whatever it was, I told you it was going to happen.
I was all up for that one.
No, you weren't, because I remember when I said it, you was like, well, we'll see. I was like, look,
but they did it right.
To be huge.
They made it. Well, they did it for folks at our age group. So there it is. But what happened was every week when you saw like the top 10.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
And it would be like Netflix 1 to 10 or something like that. Coming to America, it was the first time Amazon came in number 1 in the streaming wars for the top 10 for that week.
That's awesome.
So if you're able to, piece together content that gives you that, and you've got a digital ad platform that allows you to connect that customers to advertisers in a way that you might not be able to, you might see Amazon make a more significant move up that chain than we might be thinking.
So it looks like Google moved to 29.5% from 31.6%. So they've declined 5% year over year.
So we have Amazon going up 35% and Google coming down
5%.
5%.
And then I wasn't able to get the number from the year over year, but basically 18.5% is Facebook. So 18.5 and Amazon's at 10. Hey, I'm saying like 3-4 years, we might see a new second place. Very possibly. And it all depends. And another thing is too, Facebook's had some very big hiccups this last year, just in user, attention span. Of course, here's the other thing too. We will really see, because last year was not an election year. So the spend overall changes in election cycles.
Well, Facebook definitely benefits from an election
cycle.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So, now that I think about this, Amazon is actually in a really good position relative to at least Facebook.
At least in growth.
Yeah, at least in a growing market. That's the thing that Amazon is real. They're growing in a place where it's going like crazy, and everything points to the more digital transactions, the more that people do things online, means that there's more people with eyeballs and attention online than previously. That's all going to Amazon's benefit.
Yeah. And we'll see. Because also at the same time, what else is happening?
But
Jeff's quitting.
Yeah. And I was talking about this a little earlier today. He picked the best time to drop the mic.
Maybe he did. We'll see after the mic is dropped.
Well, think about this. He dropped it a couple of months ago. He announced he was dropping it, and then those quarterly earnings came out and they were just killer. Now this union thing has been put to rest for the time being, and this is about as I think. Are we seeing like the Amazon at its most powerful? Can they get more powerful? Do you see them continually moving and moving and moving ahead, even more than where they are right now?
Yeah, absolutely. I think they have a lot of room for growth. Yes. I think they have a good run. I think this is a good runway.
Well, let me ask you
this. Believe it or not.
Do you think that relative to what the current status of the market and everything, because they're at the top right now, do you see them coming back to the pack or extending their lead on the pack after Jeff steps down, let's say a couple of years from now?
I mean, they can hiccup, bro. Anything can hiccup. So
That's true.
You
Yeah, that's
know?
true. That's true.
I mean, so let's say without the crazy unknowns or something, I don't see anything right now when I look at them and say, man, you got to watch out for that. I just don't see the next thing on the other side of Amazon right now. I really don't. It's like, ugh.
I mean, when you think about the assets that they have, AWS is a 50 plus billion dollar business unit. That's just a business unit. I think I saw where they still own about 40 something percent of the US e-commerce market. And that's growing leaps. I mean, you think about that grew 30% year over year, and Amazon has 40 something percent of that. And then we just talked about the growth in the digital advertising and how they are growing faster than the growing market is. And then you talk about the streaming, the shipping. They will eventually start letting their capacity for shipping and fulfillment. Well, they're starting to do a little bit now, but I think that becomes a potential gold mine unto itself.
So you know what? That kind of dovetails into one thing I do want to talk about.
All right.
Something that we really, I mean, it's today it seems extremely obvious, but when we really got serious about doing this show as a show, you remember the first picture that was on our site?
No.
It was us in front of Macy's. Remember that?
Was that Macy's? Or Sears?
Yeah. Sears. It was us in front of Sears.
Yeah, I remember that.
And we went over there to talk about how what we see today actually is happening, right? We were completely very way ahead of, I think, the curve. So here's the headline. NBC News on Tuesday reported that over the last several months, Amazon is going on a shopping spree with a number of new mall purchases. Last month, the Seattle-based retail giant won approval to convert a mall in Louisiana into a 3.4 million square foot distribution center. This is something we talked about years ago, and now it's here. They're buying up old dilapidated malls.
Well, you have to think the pandemic just plays right
Absolutely.
into their hands. There's so much space available, and they can just swoop it up for pennies on the dollar.
Yeah. It's like, why keep building these distribution centers when you have all this space going, belly up and easy pickups for them? And the difference is what people don't realize, and I didn't realize this till they built the one around the corner from us, right? That most of their warehouse or distribution centers are rented.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
because
crazy.
Back then it was better to rent.
Yeah.
Now you can scoop stuff up on the cheap
and own it.
And they're buying it because of being able to quickly fulfill and distribute it across the country, not to try to get people to come to their stores.
Yep.
That's a need that will not change.
But you know what else that does for the bottom line, the top line? It turns a deficit into an asset. Once you get into the real estate game and you start owning real estate, as you pay it off, it becomes, instead of a debit, a credit. And I think Amazon's play into this real estate could be huge for them over the years. Absolutely.
It makes a ton of sense because they get it so cheap now.
Mm-hmm.
And then they own it and they're not paying anything because they own it. And it's not a case of them, well, we bought it at the high of the market and
don't matter.
They bought it cheap and it's used for fulfillment and distribution.
Yeah.
I'm also going to say this is a prime opportunity for them to create Amazon Manufacturing Services.
Oh,
have
you're
these-
still on this one.
I'm still on that
I didn't
because
remember.
that still makes a ton of sense. Now you can create these multi-purpose, places, manufacturing slash fulfillment, and keep it close to the actual locations and keep it in the country. Why wouldn't you? I mean, why wouldn't they do it?
And you know what? Here's the one thing though. When we get to the point,
Wait a minute. There's Pierre. Pierre is here, and he's once again, Pierre praising, the bold one, the cold one, John Colrice Lawson.
Oh, it's that way.
Nothing's changed. Nothing's changed, Pierre. Not a damn thing has changed. All right, had to get that in there.
The haterade comes out.
We got 5 minutes, so we got to get.
Yeah, that's cool, man. Pull up Sam's comment too, and let's talk to that real quick.
Oh, okay. Let me see what Sam has to say here. Amazon owns the service. That's right. Everyone else rents. Amazon owns the distribution centers. See, that's the thing.
That's going to be crazy.
They can own the whole stack, the whole ecosystem.
That's what they do.
And shipping. They have their own shipping.
They own that now.
So now they've got everything.
They keep putting all the pieces together all the time. They create the industry and then dominate it. It's crazy. I love it.
And they've been doing that from the very beginning. I mean,
I don't know. I'm excited. Okay.
Well, this has been
weird.
This is I know. Usually you get excited for stuff. We want to.
That's. oh man, this is good. This is good, bro.
All right, so this was a fun one. Yeah, Friday. We gotta have fun. We can't just gotta have fun. Yep. Even when we agree to disagree, it's fun. I think.
What did we disagree on today?
Yeah, you didn't want to go in on the Housewives.
That's true. Let's do that. But you know what? I would like to do that isolation wise as a thing. I don't know exactly what it is, but I think there's something very important to be discovered here. And how has that changed everything? I know there's a negative, but it does also give us a little bit of more room to do other things. So it'll be interesting. I'd like to talk about it.
I got to end this on a high note because Pierre is actually saying I did something good. So
good.
I'm going to end on a high note. But once again, folks, please.
Wait a minute. Hold on now.
What?
Hold on now.
You can't let me have my minute. You can't let me have my moment.
I'll give you the damn minute.
Give me my moment.
Yeah, give him his moment. We'll pretend like he picked the hour. Sure. No problem.
The hour. But anyway, all I can say is please go and check out Coded Bias. I think
please do.
It's one of those things.
I'm going.
Yeah, you got to watch it and pay attention to everything that goes on in there because it really. I've watched a lot of stuff already this year, but nothing better than that. That was just great.
That's saying a lot.
That's
saying a lot.
All right, folks. So this has been a good Friday. We hope you have a good weekend. We will be back next Friday. Do we have anything like really a good outro? Something witty to say on the way out?
X gonna give it to you.
There it is. All right, folks. We will see you next week. Have a great weekend.